Rugby Senate here on Chris Wyatt Reports. This is Chris, and I don't know, you might know this guy over here. I've interviewed him previously. Maybe not. I know. Little 1995 Rugby World Cup, brilliant drop goal. You know, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with Crystal Jackson, Monty Jackson's wife, last night about that. And she was talking about how the scrum half and the fly half have to know each other intimately. You know, like, is that ball coming to you? You know, if Faf doesn't even have to look, he just knows that Pollard's going to be there, and he just throws it. And occasionally, when it's out of sync, you see the ball go astray. But so she mentioned 95, and she mentioned you, and that ball just coming. Was that kind of the relationship you had back then?
It was very much.
It's Joel Stransky, by the way, in case you didn't catch on.
It was very much the relationship. We shared room at times. We were good mates. We got on really well. We didn't always get on really well. In the early days, we came from very different backgrounds and cultures, and we struggled a little bit. But the more we got to know each other, the more we played, the more we had that relationship. And it is an important relationship. It's like a sixth sense to understand what your partner is going to do. That move was a little different because we actually had a back row move called to go to the blind side. And when I looked up and saw how the All Blacks were defending, we changed it. And
on the fly.
You looked at me and he went, "Are you sure? Because you don't often overrule Franz Alpino and get away with that."
Well, fair point.
So we changed it and we did something different. But
it worked. Yes, if it hadn't worked, but it worked. It worked. It's brilliant. And so yesterday I met with Nas Bota in Bloemfontein. And we talked a bit about the kicking game. Nas had a lot to say about the kicking game in rugby, particularly the box kicks. And so I don't want to get into that with you because I know what your views on that. But I think Nas and I have very strong opinions about the kicking game.
I'll just say one thing: too much.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, I think we're in agreement there. Particularly when you've got the Oaks up there, can move the ball and go through phases. It gets a bit carried away. Okay, so this test season for the Springboks. It's not been all that exciting, I would say. If I'm honest, that's a South African phrase. And I always say to South Africans, what else would you be other than honest? Yeah. So, but if I'm honest.
People go, to be honest or to be frank. I was going, well, you're not honest before.
Well, it's also like, what's his name in that movie, The Long Kiss Goodnight? He says, I'm frank and earnest. In New York, I'm frank. In Chicago, I'm earnest. Anyway, but seriously. Now, if I'm honest, I think we could have lost all 3 games against Wales. We won 2, but we could have lost all 3 of those games. I don't think any of those performances were particularly that great. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that or any thoughts about where we're at, because it's been up and down since then. A great game in Nelspruit. Fantastic.
So I thought in that third test against Wales, we showed some really good signs. I think the second half, we were really good and we deserved to win that test. We were lucky in the first test. We got out of jail. We got a second conversion. I think if they kicked that conversion and got ahead, that'd be a different story. Second test, we picked a B side, and I have another theory on that. I think the coaching staff got tired of all of us calling for some young blood, and they said, right, let's just prove all these guys wrong and chuck all the young blood in at once with no mentorship and no leadership, and they'll fail and we don't have to listen to them for a while. And it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, but it's almost what happened. Those young guys went out there, they gave their all, they almost found a way to win the game, but they came up short. And third test, we were certainly a whole lot better. The older guys maybe got a wake-up call. But against the All Blacks in Nelspruit, the occasion was just sensational.
You were there covering it, right?
I was there. It's the best I've ever heard the whole national anthem being sung.
Oh, that was incredible, wasn't it?
It was.
And it was every stanza. It wasn't because people complain sometimes it's when Afrikaans is sung, that's right. But the entire thing, whole heart coming out.
Unbelievable. And I think we played well, and also the All Blacks showed what the All Blacks really are at the moment. They're not a great sign at the moment.
No, they are really confused.
They are confused. They came back in the second test and we looked confused, and we've looked confused ever since. But maybe we've been confused all along, and the results have just flattened us. Because let's be frank, Wales are not a great side.
Nope.
The All Blacks are not a great side.
Nope.
Australia are not a great side.
Nope. And we're struggling against
all.
all.
And we're battling against everyone.
Yeah. Well, wait till the Pumas come to town.
Well, I don't think they're a great side either. So
really?
Yeah, I don't think
they just had some good luck in the wins they've had. I saw them play Scotland.
Yeah.
And they looked pretty well in the win they had. The loss, they just lost the plot. And then I watched them also play Australia, and they had a pretty good game in Australia.
They're a decent side, and Michael Check has done great work there.
He has. What I'm sorry, Joe, but what a difference. People are calling for his head with the Wallabies. He's a terrible coach. He goes to Argentina, and look what he's doing with that side.
I think he picked up an Australian side that was in an evolving state, and he was also, unfortunately, destined to fail.
It's a bad timing.
Bad timing. And I think life is all about right time, right place. That was certain for him, wrong time, wrong place. The Argentinian side is a decent side. It's not a great side, but I think the reality is when they played Australia had a whole host of injuries. They should have actually won both those tests, Argentina.
Yeah, yes.
Australia came from behind in the first test.
No, they were ahead in
in
60 minutes. They were ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But New Zealand are confused. They don't pick their best side. They don't know how they're playing the game. They don't have a good structured attack. They're very confused, and we are even more confused. Right now.
I've never seen this many handling errors ever from the All Blacks. I mean, you like say 2 or 3 in a game.
The structure's poor.
It is. I agree. And they want to blame the coach, and maybe that's some of it. But I just think there's.
Surely the coach puts the structure in.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think there's more systemic problems with the All Blacks. I mean, let me get your thoughts on this. The thing about rugby I've always said is that it's a game of confidence. You really, I mean, if you get in a groove and you got confidence, it builds on itself. But if you take a knock and you lose that confidence, it can have devastating effects.
100%, but that's the same for
Sure.
every sport, and every individual in every sport. I smile and laugh when I hear someone say, "Oh, this player is really very much a confidence player." Every player's a confidence player. And you're right, they lack that bit of confidence. But to build confidence and build self-belief, you need good structures, you need mental, good management, you need a whole recipe that falls into place. I don't think they have that recipe yet.
I would agree with that. Now, but the All Blacks, despite that, showed what they can be. And, they're an 80-minute team. When they scored those 2 tries and came back, I mean, the Springboks had a lead with 8.5 minutes left, 23-21. And Hendrickson kicks that box kick over the top. The defense isn't there. They come down, they get a try off that, and the whole game changes on a dime just like that. They don't quit, even when they're in disarray.
Yes, but I think also we need to look at ourselves.
Yeah.
We got behind early, 15-0 down.
Yeah.
To chase the game, to make those changes in the 30th minute as opposed to the 50th minute.
It's a lot earlier.
It's a lot earlier. You burn matches. And the game is about momentum. It's swings, it's ebbs and flows. And you can't be on top in the game all the time. It doesn't work like that. So we got on top. We were bound to have a low period. When we had the low period, it was a perfectly on time. They scored those 2 tries and they took the game away from us. You can't go down 15-0 against any team in the world where if you're going to win that game on most days. You're not. And that's what happens to us.
Well, by the same token, for the Eagles, I don't know if you follow the Eagles at all, but the Eagles had the 2 qualifiers against Chile, and same thing with Uruguay, but Uruguay slaughtered us when we went down to Montevideo. But with Chile, they let the gap close again. They had this big lead, and they let them close. They didn't finish the game. Chile got close. And in the end, that made the difference in point differential. Chile needed just 2 points in that game, and they won by 2 points. And congratulations to Chileans. They're in the World Cup. I don't envy the pool they're in, but congratulations to them.
And hopefully the Eagles will get in as well. I know it's the hard way around, and it's going to be quite tough, but I'm hopeful they will.
Well, that's how Canada got in last time. They were very posh. But we'll see. I think Portugal might be a good challenge for the Eagles. We'll see. Portugal, I think, is impressing some people. It's not well-known side.
I haven't seen much of them.
Yeah, so you don't see much of them. That's the thing with rugby. It's only the big boys and some of the others. But so 2023 Rugby World Cup. I got this ball. We're gonna do. Yeah, we'll get you to sign here shortly. But 2023.
As long as we're not kicking it.
No, we're not kicking that. I wouldn't let Nas kick it. He tried to kick it.
He would kick everything.
He was trying to kick it. I had to grab it away from him.
He would be shouting at the scrum off to give him the ball to kick as opposed to the box kick.
Exactly. You've hit that spot on. Yeah. But so coming up for the next year, the only sides that impressed me as consistent and look like they have the plot for now, although that can change quickly, is I'd say France looks pretty good, and Ireland, I think. But Ireland's you don't think so?
No, so
they just have spots of brains.
I think they're a good side.
Yes.
But again, to put it in perspective, they beat the All Blacks away from home.
True.
How good were the All Blacks? Maybe not that good after all.
And then they beat them at home again. We proved they weren't that great.
Exactly. So I'm not. They're a good side. They've got a couple. So I think they're the same problem we have. They've got a whole lot of old players.
Yeah.
And key players in their squad are the old players, the Johnny Sextons of the world. When they get to the World Cup next year, a year later, I'm not sure they're going to be the team in a year's time that they are now.
I think it's a fair point. That's a fair point.
So I think they might battle a little come regular Cup. And unfortunately for them, it happens often. They just tend to pick between World Cups.
They do, and if France chokes in finals, so we've got that to go.
France beat the All Blacks in the quarterfinals and can't do it in the final.
Yep. So. Yeah, no, that's so I mean, but who looks good? I mean, other than Wales looks terrible. Scotland's as in there. England, Eddie Jones is trying, but it's just not there.
Yeah, so I think game, right? There are these cycles. And I think the teams that are looking good right now are not necessarily the teams that will be good in a year's time. And the teams to look at in a year's time are maybe the teams you don't really expect. I think there's time for the All Blacks to recover. I expect change in that camp in the next few weeks. I think if the Springboks can overcome this dependence on picking old players, stop the box kicking, play the game a little bit, we will be a force again. I think England will be a force because they've got quite a good few young players there. They're still growing. They're on the upward, not on the down. Australia will be a force. They showed this last week when they don't have any injuries. They're still missing one or two players as well, by the way. They're a smart side. They're also in the easy side of the draw.
That's true. If you look at the polls,
which makes a big difference because for us to win it, we've got to beat Ireland or Scotland in our pool. But preferably both. We've got to beat France or New Zealand in a quarterfinal. We have a tough final against England and Australia, and we're playing another strong team in the final. It's a real hard way to do it. Australia and England have a mediocre quarterfinal, tougher semi and a final. So you look at the draw and you think who does that favour as well. So it'll be an interesting look at. But I think your first point was the most important. France, they've got a lot of great young players. They've got a great coach.
They're playing well together.
They've got a physical brute force team, which is what you need at Rugby World Cup. They've got skill and talent, and they've got self-belief.
They do. They absolutely do. I was really impressed. Of course, I watched the game when they beat the All Blacks in home last year. That was an incredible game, and I think that game made a huge difference in the creation of what this team is now, building that confidence, and they look good. But beyond that, it's a lot of ifs, ands, buts, and ors. I think right now.
But that's why we play the World Cup.
Exactly.
We never know what can happen on the day.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some players, if you don't mind. So, although I'm a Province fan, I was pretty excited that when Curtly Arndt was called up. I was very excited about that. In his first test, not much happened. But my analysis of that, and yours is much deeper than mine, but my analysis was that he didn't get much chance with ball in hand. When he got it, it was on the touchline, and two tacklers were in front of him. So he didn't really get a chance to shine. I said, give him a chance with ball in hand, and this guy will show you what he can do. I think the second game was his coming out party for international test rugby. It's unfortunate, the red card, but it was warranted. It was the right call. It was really unfortunate, but I can't wait to see him come back.
So he's just a real raw talent, isn't he?
Yes.
Great feet, great pace, great skill set. A little small maybe for test rugby, but it's pointless picking guys like that unless you're going to make good use of them. Yeah. And we have a team, we have a strategy that expects our wingers to chase kicks, jump, receive kicks. We don't set him up to succeed. We set him up to do what the team needs. And yes, it's a team game, and you'll have a strategy that wins, and that is our strategy to work for 3 or 4 years. But we need to build on that to bring the likes of Pimpy win the game. Lawrence, Jason Colby, Lukanya. I mean, they are such exciting players at the back.
It's very dynamic.
We really need to do more to give them a little bit of space.
Now, Joe, you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. So I'm going to tell my audience this, because I don't want to get you in hot water. But anyway, so those who watch my program know that I've always been a Billy LaRue fan. Yeah. I'm going to follow this up with the good news, because there's some bad news here. In the World Cup, I think Billy used to wear butter on his fingers as we're building up the World Cup last time. I was very disappointed in his performance, and I was wondering if he was passing. But I would say what I've seen this year, especially coming off the bench, but even when he started, Billy seems to me like he's back. Yeah. He's making great decisions with the ball. He's making great passes. He's opened up for some tries to come out, and he's created space for players. I think Billy is on his game right now, but I don't think he was in 2019.
So the important thing is he created space for players. Yeah. So I have a view, and it's probably shouldn't say this on air.
That's why I didn't want to put you on the spot.
But Andre Pollard is a really good general in our game structure. He's not a running fly. For him to move the ball, he stops the pass.
Yes.
He either carries it up strongly because he's a big guy, or he stops and makes a pass. More often than not, a skip pass, which keeps the overlap away. We are going to battle the play, running regularly on that Pollard as a fly. So maybe why we play the game we play. When we needed to chase the game against Wales in the third test, everybody against the All Blacks, when he came on and became first receiver, and all of a sudden he made space for players around him.
Things opened up.
Running good lines into the ball. He was joining defenders, moving the ball around wise, and I think you're right. He really shot. What has astounded me in the last couple of weeks is that that he wasn't even on the bench.
Yeah.
And so when you go behind and you don't have a Billy Lou on the bench, and 23, we had no one who could go chase the game, no one who could play anyone into space.
So
no
once
one
we
who
were
could
behind, we
create.
were really screwed.
We were really good. Really good.
Yeah. Well, here's one. Okay, now I'm really digging in the pit to get people in trouble here. Being a Stormers and Province fan.
Yeah.
Evan Ruiz, not even on the side, not even making the trip. I'm still shaking my head about that one. I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, Joe. I don't want to put you in the spot.
So I think Dwayne from Nicklin is a great player, but he's short on match practice and he is getting towards the end of his career. And so I think he's been thrown in the deep end the last couple of weeks. To have your first test back after being out for 8 or 9 weeks and
That's tough.
having had minor knee surgery against the All Blacks in a starting test.
Yeah.
Was crazy.
It
was a crazy decision.
It's a big ask.
It was a big ask. And is Evan Roos the right guy in the way that the Springboks play or at test level? I don't know, but we'll never know.
I'm a Stormers fan. He is the right guy, Joe.
But put him in there. Put him in there.
Yeah,
in
let's
a team
find out.
that is
Let's
set
find
up
out.
to win.
Yep.
And see if the coach is right or if Evan Roos is right. Because I think he's got great skill and great talent. We know he's got a big engine. We know he's gutsy and committed and hard. He makes mistakes. I think that's the one thing we would say about him.
Yep.
He makes the odd mistake when he turns the ball over.
At an unfortunate moment.
And unfortunately, and in Test rugby, those are costly.
Yes.
Which I think is why Rassie Rasmussen dropping over. Don't like him or looking at him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But maybe take that skill set and all that talent,
And prove it.
put him in there and mentor him and teach him. That's what I would love to see him.
No, I'd love to see it.
They're following him. Elric Lowe.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Another big, strong ball carrier, number 8, blind
Not
side
on-
flanker. He just left the toys quiet at the moment.
But he's coming back from that injury.
But he's been average. He's been very
Well,
average.
okay, you open the door. You open the door.
But then put someone in who's not average. And
You,
playing well.
you open the
They
door.
perform well.
I wasn't going to go there, but that was my assessment. I've been telling people. I said, right now he's not really adding anything. He just left the toys just out there, and I don't know if he's hesitant because of the injury or
He got a
what.
great ball on the weekend, and he actually kicked it away. I was actually flabbergasted.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. When you're out wearing the injury, you know how it is. Sometimes you come back, you're a little hesitant, and you're not in the flow of the game. But yeah, he's been marginal.
And maybe the problem we have at this time in the year is having switched to the Northern Hemisphere calendar playing URC. There's no game time to put Dwayne or Peter Steph to and say, don't play for the Stormers or the Bulls, wherever it is, and get some game time. Because there are no other games.
Yeah.
So they expect it to just go from practice into a test match and deliver. And it's so hard.
Well, Joel, before we wrap up, I just want to raise this topic with you real quick because we haven't talked about this since it came about, and that's the URC. I'm pretty stoked about the URC. I don't know what your thoughts, if you think it went well, but when the season started, it looked pretty ugly for the South African sides. And my explanation was, okay, first off, these guys haven't played rugby in a long time. Second, a lot of them haven't played in the North Hemisphere because we're taking guys to the Curry Cup teams going up there and Super Rugby teams. And so now they're being exposed to a new environment, different sort of officials who have different flavor on the game. And it's going to take time. I was really disappointed in the Stormers going up there and squandering 2 huge leads. That was heartbreaking. But then they come back and they're gold the rest of the way and they win the thing. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the URC? I think the final with the Bulls and the Stormers is incredible. It's a shame it was only half full stadium, but it's another story.
So I think there's a couple of things to the slow start. I think South African rugby, we've got ahead of ourselves a little at the moment. I think before the URC, we were a little ahead of ourselves at the same time. Maybe expected too much. But we did settle well. We battled with some of the law interpretations. We battled with the speed of the game. But we found our place and we found our way. We recovered and we showed our skill and talent. The coaches do that. And I think we got really good. And that's why we had 2 teams in the last 4. It was a great final. I thought the Stormers were lucky to win the final. A couple of tries there that maybe legally they were very fortunate.
All right, so
But still,
so here's
big team.
okay. Joel's correct. No, we were lucky, but hey, sometimes luck is what you need.
You got to ride your luck.
That's right, you got to ride. Well, Joel Stransky, it's a pleasure as always. Thanks for meeting me here in Sandton.
Only a pleasure. Lovely chatting. Nice
Cheers.
to see you in our beautiful country.
Oh, it is fantastic. Yeah, we talked about my experiences, my rainbow rescue with the blown rims and tires and service delivery protest and all the other stuff. But Joel, it's fantastic seeing you again. Folks, thanks a lot. Be sure to leave a comment behind if you like, and we'll catch you later on the channel.
It's still the loudness came behind us.
Yeah, wow.